Now if you remember, we had done in earlier classes what is the importance of brain in our body. Brain is controlling all the systems of your body, right? Now that means the brain is connected with the nervous system, and all the activities of your body or all the actions of your body is controlled by brain. But does plant have a nervous system? Plant does not have a separate nervous system like we have, or like we human beings have. Plants do not have any nervous system, or they do not have a muscular system. Do they need a muscular system? No. When I am talking about muscular system, I will give you one example. If I have a cup of tea and I don't know whether it is hot or cold, and I just touch it and it is very hot, what my tendency will be to remove my hand. Immediately, within a fraction of a second, I will remove my hand. Right? Why I am doing that? Because my body has taken that information that it is hot, it has traveled through the nervous system to my brain, and brain is telling me remove your hand. This is all happening within a fraction of a second. But that's possible where nervous system is present, where muscular system is present. Your muscles are touching and removing. But who is controlling? The brain is controlling. The spinal cord is controlling. So we are going to learn about that later. But does plant have a nervous system or a muscular system? Plants do not have any nervous system or muscular system. But then how the plants show any response? If there is a change in the surroundings of the plant, it shows a response to the stimuli. And when I am saying stimuli means it will, any change in the environment, whether it is the touch, whether it is a temperature change, whether it is a touch change, whether it is a change because of the hormones inside the plant. So any stimuli, this stimuli means anything which is bringing the change, and that they respond to it. Now, have you seen a plant which is known as mimosa plant? It is also called as touch me not. What is the speciality of this plant is, this mimosa plant have the leaves, regular leaves it has. Now when I touch that mimosa plant, what happens? The leaves start shrinking. The leaves start folding. It was like this. Mimosa plant, the leaves are like this. Okay. When I touch this leaves, or when I touch this plant, this leaves start folding backwards. That means it starts closing itself. Why does it happen? I have only touched it. So why it has happened? Now the plant mimosa is very sensitive to touch, and that touch is actually acting as a stimuli for making it fold inside or shrink away. And this type of stimulus is known as seismonastic movement. Seismonastic movement. The movement shown by mimosa plant, that's why it is called as touch me not. In simple terms, it's a common word which is given to this plant. It's called as touch me not. Why? Because if you touch me, plant is telling, if you touch me, I will fold away, I will shrink away. Because it is very sensitive to touch, and that's why it starts folding like this, and it will go away from you. And all the plants with the leaves which were spreaded, it will start folding like this. And this movement which starts because of the touch stimuli, it is called as seismonastic movement. Now, is there any growth involved in this movement? No, there is no growth involved. Here only the touch is the stimulus. There is no growth involved during seismonastic movement. But there are some stimulus which is growth dependent and growth independent. That means there are some movements in plants which can be growth dependent or growth independent. Now here you saw it is growth independent. That means here no growth is involved. Here only the touch is involved. But if I give you a seed, small seed, and I ask you to keep it in water for some days, it sprouts come out like moong, matki. We keep in water and then sprouts start coming out, right? Small sprouts start coming out and the leaves start coming out. If I put this seedling, this is the root part, this is the stem part which will be growing. Now here, if I just overturn it and keep the root part up and the leaf part down, what will happen? Is this type of movement, any change in the movement you will see? You will see. If I change this and this leaf part I keep it out and down and root part I keep it up, what you may observe after some days? You may observe that this start moving downwards. Root part start moving downwards and this start coming upwards. Why? Now this is growth related, and this leaf is actually getting the stimulus from the light, that means the light of the sunlight, and the root part which I had upturned, the root starts going down, that means it is getting stimulus from the soil which has the water, which has the gravity. This type of movements we are going to learn. This is growth dependent movements and this was growth independent movements. So we have learnt here that mimosa plant, when it folds, it is not growth related, only stimulus is the touch, and that's why this movement was called as seismonastic movement. But there are some movements which are growth related. This is activity 11.2 on page 136. I'll try to explain that. Take a shallow bottle with a wide mouth, place some moist cotton in it, place a few sprouted seeds in it. Observe the directions of growth of radicle and plumule. What they are telling us, take a wide mouth bottle and keep some cotton in it with the seeds. Okay, now these seeds, when you water it, the seeds will show as this. Here small radicle will come out and here plant will start coming out. This will be the growth which is taking place. Now if one of the sprouts is taken and just upturned ulta, that means the radical part will be up and the plumule part will be down. What may happen? Observe the direction of growth daily. What do you observe? We observe that even if you upturn, even if you change the direction of root, the root will go down only and the plant will go up only. Why? Because their stimulus is different. They are growth related stimulus. The plant or the radical which is going to grow into a root, they go towards gravity or the water which is present in the soil, and the plant they go towards the light, that is towards the sunlight. So this is the difference actually when this is called as growth related movement. Now tendrils, have you observed the tendrils? You must have seen the grapevine. In the grapevine means Drakshasi Mora. So where you can see that small thread like structures are coming out and they are winding around any support they get. Or even the pea plant, that means the matar. So matar also, or pea plant also has very thin tendrils. So what are these tendrils? Actually the tendrils are very sensitive to touch. When they get a support, what happens? They start twining around it, they start growing around it, and then the rest of the part of the plant starts growing towards the other end. So this is how what it is giving, actually it is sensitive to touch, and that's why it is giving balance to the rest of the plant to grow. The growth is always faster at the other end rather than at the tendril end. Now wherever the tendril has gone and taken support, there the growth you will not find, but the growth you will find in the other end of the plant. So this is how the tendrils are very sensitive to touch. Whenever they get anything, they twine around it and they start growing there, and the other part of the plant starts growing. Now movements of the plants which are growth dependent, that we are going to see what type of movements we see because of growth. So we were talking about movements in plants. So there are some two types of movements, as I said, growth dependent and growth independent. Now we are going to see what are growth dependent movements. Now what is tropism? I have written a word, tropism, that is the movement or the growth of any part of the plant in response to external stimuli. External stimuli means the stimuli which is around in the surroundings. So because of that stimuli, because of that reason why the growth or the movement of plant is taking place, that is called as tropism. So the movement or growth of any part of the plant because of external stimuli is called as tropism or tropic movement. Tropism or tropic movement is one and the same thing. So this definition is also very important. What is tropism? Now under tropism we are going to see 4 different types of tropic movements. First is phototropic. Phototropic movement. Second is geotropic movement, gravitropic. Third is hydrotropic movement. And fourth is chemotropic movement. So under the movement or growth dependent movements of plants, we are going to see the 4 types of tropic movements that are depending on the external stimuli. So what was tropism? Tropism was that movement or growth of any part of the plant because of the external stimuli, that is called as tropism. Now tropism can be because of phototropic, that means photo means light, light coming from sunlight. So that movement because of sunlight, the movement which is shown by the plant is called as phototropic movement. We are going to go one by one. Then what is gravitropic movement? Gravitropic movement means the movement due to gravity or gravitational force, that is called as gravitropic movement. It's also called as geotropic movement. So geotropic or gravitropic, it means the same. Then the movement due to water, the water is acting as a external stimulus and the plant is moving towards water, that is called as hydrotropic movement. And the last is chemotropic movement. Because of some chemicals released in the plants, the movement takes place, and that is called as chemotropic movement. So there we have to learn the 4 types of movements which are called as phototropic, gravitropic, hydrotropic and chemotropic movements. Now what is phototropic movement? We see, if you take a potted plant, keep it near the window. After few days you will see the plant has shifted its side towards the sunlight, where the sunlight is coming. Have you observed any time like this? If I keep on a windowsill one potted plant, you will see slowly the plant is moving and bending towards light. Why is it doing so? Because the sunlight is acting as an external stimulus and the plant is showing the movement towards the sunlight, and that is why it is called as phototropic movement. Now here what happens? The growth of the plant is taking place. Now there is a hormone which is known as auxins. This auxin hormone is released at the tip of the growing stems. So when this is released at the tip of the growing stems, this helps in the growth of the plants towards the sunlight. This hormone, what happens? This hormone will diffuse towards the side which is not directed towards the sun. That means it will remain towards the shady side and it will allow the movement of the plant towards the sunlight. So auxin is the hormone released by the plant at the tips of the growing stems, and what it does, it diffuses or it settles down at the side of the stem where no direct sunlight is falling, and it allows the other part of the stem to grow towards the sunlight. This is what the auxin play a role in it. And this is how the phototropic movements take place. What about the root? Now roots show the gravitropic movement. Why? You must have seen maximum roots which you see, they go deep inside the soil. That means the external stimuli for them is gravity or the gravitational pull. That gravitational pull is making the roots grow towards down in the down direction inside the soil. And that is why this type of movement of roots, generally it is shown by the roots, and this type of root movement towards the soil due to the external stimulus of gravity, it is called as gravitropic movement. Now there are many type of movements shown by the roots where the water is present. Now huge trees there. All the root system also forms a big huge network. Now some are going deep inside due to gravity. Some are going sideways in search of water. So when they go in search of water, that means the movement of the plant, when the external stimulus here is water, that type of movement is called as hydrotropic movement. So the hydrotropic movement is shown by the roots when it goes in search of water, and this movement is called as hydrotropic movement. Then what is chemotropism? Chemotropism actually is the movement due to chemicals released. Now what happens when during the fertilization or the pollination, the pollen grains fall on the stigma, then through that stigma a small tube comes out through the pollen tube, that is called the pollen tube. Now here the movement of pollen tube towards the ovary is actually regulated or controlled by chemicals, and that movement of pollen tube to take the egg towards the eggs, and that is called as chemotropic movement. So this chemotropic movement will be seen where the chemicals are involved. Now we saw the name of the hormone. One hormone is auxin. There are mainly four hormones which you have to learn. Auxins. The name of the hormones which you have to learn is, and what do they do? Hormones in plants. First is auxins. Second is gibberellins. Third is cytokinins. And fourth is abscisic acid. Now these hormones play a very important role in plants. We have discussed about auxins. Where do the auxins work? Auxins are generally working at the tips of the growing stems, and it is helping in growth of the plant towards the sunlight. What about gibberellins? Gibberellins help in the growth of the stem. Now the auxins are making the stem go towards the photo or the sunlight, but what about the growth of the stem? This is taking place due to gibberellins. Cytokinins, these are actually promoting the cell division. The cell division will happen, then the growth will happen. So the cytokinins are the hormones which are involved in the cell division. These three hormones are very important for the growth of the plant due to any tropical movement. Now it promotes growth. So in short I can say these three promotes growth. Right? Auxins, which are the tip of the stems, gibberellins, which actually increases the size of the stem, and cytokinins, which are helping in the cell division. Then only the growth will take place. So these three together are promoting the growth of the plant. Then what is abscisic acid doing? Abscisic acid is actually not promoting the growth of the plant. It is making the plant wilt. So it inhibits growth. It inhibits growth. So that is why many times you see in between one leaf is drying off, one branch is drying off, one twig is drying off. So that is because this abscisic acid actually is inhibiting the growth and making some parts of the plant dry off and fall off. And that due to abscisic acid, wilting of leaves can be seen. So here 4 types of hormones are working, that is auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, which are primarily basically promotes growth of the plant, and abscisic acid is inhibiting the growth of the plant. Best example is wilting of the leaves. Suddenly in between you see a dry plant, dry leaf, suddenly you see dry stem, and that is because the abscisic acid is stopping the growth there. And if it is more developed, then what happens? The plants may start wilting in spite of watering it every day. We saw that how the plants which are growth dependent show the movements because of various reasons. It can be, the reason can be sunlight, reason can be water, reason can be gravity, reasons can be chemicals produced. Now what about the mimosa plants, which we took the example earlier, that the touch me not? When the touch me not is not touched, or the mimosa plant is not touched, I can say it is in an unstimulated state. Unstimulated state means what? When there is no stimuli, external stimuli acting on it. It is perfectly normal. No plants are folded, no leaves are folded. I am not touching it. It will be normally as the other plant. Yes. So we can say that it is in the unstimulated state. But I take this pen and I touch that. I touch the plant. What will happen? The plant will show the movement and like it starts folding. That I can say it will be stimulated state. So there are 2 states, unstimulated states and stimulated state. Unstimulated state, there was no pen, there was no external stimuli which are actually making the movement. So I had not touched the plant with the pen or pencil. So there was no stimuli. So that state, when it is normally open, it is called as unstimulated state. And when I touched it, it immediately folded. That means this was acting as a stimuli to it, or a reason for it to change its shape, and that is why it started folding. Then why is it happening? Now here the stimuli was only the touch of the pen. If I don't have a pen, I touch my finger, then also it is a touch. What is happening? How the information is sent? Now the plants are using electrochemical means. They don't have a nervous system, but they produce some chemicals which tell them that they have to fold their leaves. So that, how do they send? They use the electrochemical means to transfer the information. Now this is in the human body, we understand that electrochemical means will be transferred by a nervous system. But do plants have nervous system? Plants do not have nervous system. In this case, when I touched it with the pen, there was some information collected by the leaf. That information was transported by some chemicals produced, which was electrochemical means. And that electrochemical means was used to transfer the information to the leaves that this stimuli is dangerous for you, you fold it. That means the action was taken. Do they have any muscles to act? No. Muscles to remove the hand? No. So what they will, this is in self-defense. Actually these all movements is in self-defense. But they think that some other external thing is coming to harm them. It is the external stimuli which is making this movement of the mimosa plant. What is happening? Actually, this when the through electrochemical means the transfer of information is taking place, they shrink their leaves. How do they shrink their leaves? They adjust the amount of water present in the leaf. That water is transferred to other cell, and so that it becomes very easy for them to shrink. So they change the shape of their cells. They change the shape of the cells depending on how much water is present. So that amount of water is shifted to another cell, and so they shrink. This is such a unique characteristic present in mimosa plant. They can show the movement because they can change the shape of their cells, and they can change the concentration of water to change their shape of the cells. So they shrink and thus change their cells. There is an example given in your book, the Venus flytrap. This is a type of plant. It has a trap which looks and smells like a flower. Now when insects come near it, there is a nice fragrance. Fragrance means smell. When the insect is attracted to the flower because it has a nice smell. Actually, it is an insectivorous plant. It wants to trap the insect. So what happens when they land on it? When they land on the flower starts showing the movement because of the touch, and the flower keeps the insect inside and covering it from the petals, and therefore it traps the insects inside and then use it for digestion and take the nutrients from the insect. So this is actually the formula used by the Venus flytrap. Here also they are showing seismomatic movement, that means any touch. Now here the touch is done by the insects. Now the small insects which is attracted because of the colorful flower and the nice fragrant flower or nice smelling flower, and it sits on it. That touch is the external stimuli for this Venus flytrap, and it traps the insects by showing their changing in the shape of the cells and completely covering the insect. There are some other movements which can be seen. The lotus opens in the morning. Have you seen the lotus flower? When you go in the morning, it opens very nice. But there is a flower like tuberose which opens at night. So what is the stimuli here? For the lotus, the light is the stimulus, and for the tuberose, the absence of light is the stimulus for it. So there are two different type of movements in two different times of day. One is opening up in the daylight, one is opening up in the night time. Then there is a Drosera plant or the pitcher plant, which are insectivorous plant. Again, they show the stimulus of touch. As soon as the insect sits on it, it traps it and takes the nutrients by digesting it. And another is balsam plant. Balsam plant, it has a big fruit which is very, very thorny. If you have seen, it can be seen anywhere on the roadside. This balsam plant has a big fruit, green color fruit. When the fruit matures, it bursts open. Now here, what is the stimuli? Inside the pressure is developing, and due to the heat of the sun, and it opens up and all the spores come down. So these are the movements which are not growth related, but they show the movement because of the external stimuli. So you can write the examples of these movements. Lotus opens up in the morning. Tuberose opens at night. Drosera, Venus flytrap, trap insects. Because of touch. And balsam plant on maturing burst its seeds in air. These are the examples where the movement of the plant is seen, but they are not growth related.